Bespoke supported tenancies. How did it happen? Why did it happen? I've been asked that question so many times, and I'll keep this brief because I could go on for a number of hours. But effectively, a light bulb moment went off for me in 2007 when I was working in a local authority in North Wales, and we were a team of 3 local authority deputies which dealt with across the board social services wise, from people in transition right through to people in older people services, in relation to support, mobility issues, care funding, support packages, and a whole host of things developed around housing, access to community facilities. My biggest frustration at the time was specifically around housing, and I met with 2 or 3 housing providers and wanted to discuss what was seen at the time being progressive development, to work with the local authorities more closely and work with support providers more closely, because with somebody's support and development plan, that is person-centred, and what we weren't doing at the time in that local authority was having a person-centred approach to housing, and that's where my biggest frustration lay. So the reason why is purely to have an incorporated body, which is now BeST, that has a person-centred approach to meet an identified housing need for an individual, as opposed to meeting an identified housing need for a house to be provided that people can move into. And it's that which is the core element, ethos and drive where BeST comes from, where a business perspective is that we look at the individual's need as opposed to just looking at the house that can be supplied. And I think that's where we are that little bit different to some providers. There's a lot of providers doing their similar things to us, but we absolutely focus on what the tenant's requirement is, not just for the housing side of things, but also opportunities for employment, opportunities for access to education, and upcoming in the future will be access to opportunities for lifetime experiences. And that's ultimately why BeST was formulated. How it was formulated would take hours, but I think if we concentrated on why it was formulated, it was to give that person-centred focused approach to meeting an identified housing need for an individual to move in and flourish in their tenancy.